welcome back to Dogtography. Today we're here at this really amazing poppy field. We are in St. Thomas, Ontario, the beautiful Elgin County, and I'm going to show you how to take photos of your dog in poppies. You ready to go, Asher? Well, let's go! Hi, I'm Andrea Fleury and welcome to Dogtography. My channel is all about how to take better images of your dog and how to create some really super fun memories. I walk you through different tips and tutorials and techniques. I sometimes show you behind the scenes of my professional career as a dog photographer, all while just trying to have some fun and enjoy time with our dogs. So the first thing I want to talk about is time of day and positioning. Now I have to mention we're beside a very busy road. So if you hear a lot of traffic, not a whole lot I can do about it. It is 6:15 in the morning. So we drove here at 5 o'clock in the morning to set up so that we were here for sunrise. Now there's a reason for that. I wanted to know where the light was going to be. So with this particular location, the sun is behind you. So it's behind Phoenix over here. Whereas in the evening, it sets behind this building. So if I want like nice backlit glowing shots, I don't want to be shooting where I have a building in the background. So we had to be here first thing in the morning. Now we've been here 2 times already, kind of like laying out shots, and I've done my thing, my photography thing already, so I know exactly where the sun was going to be. But I think that's really important because with really short flowers, and the type of location where there's a busy road and stuff, and I'm going to show you what it looks like behind you, it's best to have the lighting conditions that you want to have. So I'm an advocate for intentional photography. So not just showing up and winging it and being spontaneous. Sure, that happens, but if you have the ability to pre-plan your shoots, you're going to get a better quality of imagery if you kind of know what to expect when you get there. So scout out your location ahead of time, know where the sun is going to be, know what the background is going to look like or what you want it to look like, and go from there. Okay? Tip number 1. So the sun is starting to come up a little bit now, which is putting some nice golden light through these flowers. So some of the poppies are in like nice light, others over here are still in shadow. It kind of gives you a bit of variety to work with, which is kind of why I like working at this time of day. Cell phones, which I'm going to be shooting with right now, are notoriously not great in like backlight conditions. So with the sun behind Asher puts the front of him in shadow. So cell phones really struggle with what's called dynamic range. So the photos might not look amazing through camera, but I'm hoping in editing, I'll be able to kind of lift the shadows that you're going to be seeing on the front of him to kind of counterbalance the light in the background. So we're going to try a few like backlit images in the poppies here, and then I'll show you a contrast image of what it's like in more of the shadow part of the poppies, so you can just kind of see the difference. And I'm also going to talk about like positioning and what's going on in the background over here. So come on over this way. So I have Phoenix here today with me. He's going to help handle Asher. So maybe that is my number 2 tip, is have someone with you to help you handle. Here you go. So we've done this already. He knows pretty much where to go. But it's really nice and handy when you have someone that can hold a leash for you and where you can kind of direct them. If you're working on your own, have a longer line so you can get a little bit of distance, because you're going to want to get in some of these really pretty flowers. So I'm positioning Asher in like the glowing part of the poppies. So the part that's getting some of the sun-kissedness from the sun that's in the background. Phoenix is going to try and position him just in a sit, and we're just going to go from there. Okay, so I'm going to my 3x lens. Hi, yes, like a boy. So I'm zooming in a little bit here, and you can see in the background that we've got like this big white open space here and this tree. And that is a little bit of a concern for me. So here's what I'm going to do is, once we can get Asher kind of positioned here, I'm going to come up like this. And I'm going to kind of move myself so that I can frame him in. Asher! Asher! Cute little looking over the shoulder shot. Good boy. So you can see now that there is no horizon line. This is all poppies right here around him. So if you could just have him sit again, I just want to show one thing. So if I come down like this, the horizon line is the road. We've got a telephone pole over here and a tree. So what you want to avoid is this, where the horizon line is going through his head and there's cars in the background. That's not a great composition, especially when you have a whole field of flowers like this. What makes it better is when you rise up like this and you get those nice pretty poppies like all the way around him. Over here. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Nice. All right. So you want to pay attention to your composition. You want to look at horizon lines. Now, normally in most of my tips and techniques, I tell you to get down low as possible. But when you do that here in a location like this, we're getting the roadway and telephone poles and trees and big white spaces in the background. None of that looks good. You want to take advantage of these beautiful flowers as much as you can. So you want to get as many flowers in the frame. I think it's more conducive to this style of photo and to the environment, the location we're in. Okay, let's move over here to where there is no sun. Okay, so now we're kind of shooting through a location in the poppy field where there isn't a lot of sunlight coming through. The sun is directly behind this tree, which I think that you can see. So the tree is filtering the light, which is causing shade on this part of the poppies. Kind of the good thing about that for cell phone cameras is that it's less contrasty. So there's not as much brightness in the background and lightness in the foreground. So we're just gonna try it just as a sample, just to see what it looks like here. And we're gonna do a shot with Asher kind of laying in the grass in front of the poppies instead of in the poppies, just to kind of get a little bit of variety. Okay, so we're gonna position him with his body laying that way. Let's maybe go over here where there's a bit more nice ones in the background. What I don't mind about this is that he's got this cute little position. I can kind of see the sun glowing off here to the side, which I think is kind of cool. Now let's talk about the horizon line and what's happening in the background versus what I was just saying. So I don't mind seeing these three trees. His head does not look like it has a tree growing out of it, right? He had the poppies behind him there, which was kind of breaking up that like whole look of like, oh, I got branches and a tree growing out of the back of my head. They're quite far in the distance as well. So I thought that that was a really cute shot. You've got like stuff stuck in your fur pants there, Asher. Yeah, there we go. So I thought that that was a really cute shot, a really nice look. I love the sun kind of like beaming through the tree. You'll notice that there's some kind of like harsh shadows, but I'm going to try and fix that when I edit these images later, and I think it's going to be great. So let's talk a little bit about variety and how he's going to stand. Asher, off. Hey, look at me. What's this? Hey, hi. Phoenix, can you back up just a little bit? Hello, Asher, right here. Right, yeah, where's a good boy? Stay. Okay, I'm gonna flip over to portrait mode just to kind of see how this goes. So portrait mode is like an artificial aperture effect, which should like blur out a bit of the background. So get a little distance from him there, Phoenix, please. Asher, what's this? Ready, catch it. Yes, catch it. Good, oh, find it. So yeah, I mean, this is working quite well, this portrait mode. It doesn't always work well. Portrait mode is kind of, I mean, it's kind of an effect. It's kind of cool, but it sometimes works and it sometimes doesn't, especially with pets. Okay, so here's another thing with poppies. You can see what's happening is they're like all over his face. I'm trying, let's see if we just position you a little differently. Sit, stay. If we position him there, there's still like, you see that one red poppy, that one right there, that's right in front of his face. So yep, you're gonna get that a little bit. Ooh, car, ready? Yes. Yes, see how the horizon line is not going through his head. So what was interesting about that is that the road, you know, what we're trying to avoid going through his head is below his head. Okay, stay. Oh, I love that. Yes, Sashi. So see how I get lower? The horizon line is going through his body. Whereas if I'm up here, it's going through his head or the top of his head. That does not look good. Asher, yes, good boy, yes. See how his head is positioned in between those two trees? So there's two trees here. His head is kind of positioned in the middle. I think this composition is kind of the best with what we can do. We do have a telephone pole in the background. Ready, catch it! Yay! What a nice little head tilt. Good boy. Okay, so we're getting a little bit more sun now on some of the poppies over here in the corner. So we're gonna go and move over and try and do some backlit images there. Okay, so now we're at a spot here where you can see the nice golden sun filtering through the poppies. So I'm gonna pop Asher like right in here, right where you can see we've probably already been or somebody's already been. And we're gonna give it a shot this way and just see what it looks like. So backlight, Asher, look at me, yes. So I'm zooming in, I'm just getting him. I'm gonna come down, see how he really goes into shadow here. And this funny thing that's happening in the bottom, that's called lens flare. That happens, look at that. That happens when the sun is directly shining into the element, into the lens, which is, you know, sometimes people really like that. Sit, stay. Sometimes people really like that effect. I'm gonna try and minimize it the best way that I can. Hi. I'm gonna go to my 3X lens, which is like the telephoto lens. Trying a few that way as well. Oh, what a good boy. And I'm just being mindful of that piece of poppy there in front of his eye. Whoops. Let's try doing a wide shot. Now, that's the really cool thing about this cell phone, right? Look at this. Whoa, I love that. Okay, hold it there. Don't move. Stay. Stay. Want to try and fluff this up a little bit so it doesn't look quite as, oh, big gaping hole. Ready? Catch it! Catch it! Yes! What a good boy. Okay, I'm gonna alter that shot a little bit. I wanna cut out the road. I don't want the road as much. Look at me, ready, catch! Yes! Good boy, stay. I'm waiting for that truck. Yes, good. See, now what I don't mind about this composition here is the horizon line is way up here. So it's nowhere affecting his head. You still got all these poppies, the really cool sun coming through in the background. And I think this looks amazing. Nice job, Ashy. So there you have it, just a fun little photo shoot today in the poppies here in St. Thomas, Ontario. I'm so grateful that they planted the field this year. It was absolutely beautiful and we've taken advantage of it now a few times. It's amazing. I hope you enjoyed today's little how to shoot in the poppies tutorial, and I will see you again next Saturday for another video. Until then, go out and make some memories with your dog. Find something amazing like this in your local area and enjoy. All right, Asher, let's go.